Alrighty, let's check out this classic basic. We're looking at the web version of this thing. I think it has a Android version as well. Type help, get some commands from the. It has like a CLI feel. It feels like an old green screen monitor from way back in the day. Catalog. So you've got some examples there you can load. It's just like load. You don't need the parentheses apparently. More of that. So let's try and run this thing. Audio is blocked until the page receives. Okay, fair enough. Let's get rid of that. Catalog. Functions. Right, these are built-in functions. Yeah, all pretty much the same stuff. So, actually, it's something weird there, isn't it? Like, wasn't that meant to be on print sign? I would have thought that would give you a tab between those. I'm not sure about this dialect of basic. Maybe it does, maybe it does not. Not my killer fish. The things I used this the other day and it was missing a lot of things. So if I wanted to edit a line, you couldn't list a line and go, list 140 and then cursor up to it and then replace it. I can't click on this and edit the line. It doesn't. I have to retype this thing apparently. I probably can actually cut and paste the whole thing. 140, but I can't go back. Right, so once the cursor gets to a certain point, there's no backspacing. I have to just edit. So, like in terms of convenience, it's not great. That could be better. That's all I'm saying. Get rid of that. New. What we got? Nothing. So we'll try and write something. I don't know. I don't know this dialect at all, so I think it was screen 0 for setting up a screen, and we'll just make the line numbers pretty erratic. Here's where I got stuck immediately. Is I went, all right, I'll draw a line. What format does it want this in? Does it want a line like this? And we get syntax error on line 100. Fair enough. So you go list 100, set a line, but you can't edit the thing. Now, it doesn't tell me what's actually wrong with the line. Because if I have line 100 and I go blah blah blah, colon blah blah blah, colon blah blah blah, list it out, hit run, it doesn't tell me anything. It doesn't. Which one of these blah blah blahs is causing this fail state? So, first of all, I would think it should have some response about, hey, I don't understand this keyword, and if it's being used in the context as being a parameter to something else, then it's like, hey, parameter 3 of the line function is broken or whatever. Now I know line actually uses a different syntax, but I wouldn't know that unless I went and looked this up. So if you go into this thing here, yep, all great. Back to a little clear screen. Actually, that's another one that was interesting. So let's try and draw a line. Just between two square points. You need brackets around the coordinate pairs. So 200, 200 or something. There's two more parameters. I'm not quite sure what they're meant to be. So obviously those people who are familiar with this brand of basic would know that. Right. And we get nothing. Now, obviously, our parameters are the correct number or the correct format for the line command. Maybe it's a color. Maybe it's black on black. So 100 line this 200 we'll go 1. Maybe it's the pen color and the background color. See what we get. Right, now we get a box. Is the first parameter, what is it? Like, when you look at help, there's no short list for, hey, here's an overview of the available functions and a prototype example of what these functions does. So yeah, the other one I noticed too, which got me straight away, so I went, all right, if I want to do animation, I'm going to have a line drawn or a piece of graphics drawn, clear the screen, and then redraw that thing. Sounds acceptable, right? But when you run this, you get this. So clears the console screen, but we want to, is screen a graphics screen? Like, what is that doing? What does that tell us about anything? Can we do a question mark screen, maybe? What's saying 0? No, it's printing screen has a variable. So we'll get rid of 200. 200, we'll go, I don't know, 50-50 or something. Do it with this action, 150, 150. Let's try some more values. What about 2 and 1? What does that make line do? Draws a rectangle. I have no idea why it draws a rectangle. What about a circle? We'll go 300. I think there's a circle. Well, it might be oval or something actually. Circle. I guess it's the axis. We'll go 250, 100. Radius maybe, I don't know, 30 pixels. Probably a pen color. I'll say 1 again, I like that before. We got a circle. Actually, it might be the fill mode. So maybe this parameter here is the fill mode. Look, I know people who know these older dialects of BASIC would know this stuff inside and out. That's not my point. My point is, if I'm brand new and I hit this thing here, classic, basic.org, and I try and learn BASIC from here, I've got no meaningful feedback through the app to understand what I'm doing wrong. That's my point. So it all seems to work pretty well. I mean, all hats off to you. But as a learning tool, it's going to be hard for people to learn from this by themselves. They would have to go and find a resource about what the parameter formats are. And if you look in the help, right, so when you go to book, it takes you to a third-party site. Like, okay, that's nice. Why can't you just have, whether it's, well, I guess an easier way would be if you went help and then you said print or something like that. So this might give you the overall thing, and maybe help has a few different types of responses, a question or something like that. Whatever format you feel is comfortable or whatever. But I would have thought, command listing or something is probably something that you'd want to have. Anyway, so if we want to make this an animated loop, how do we make this run? Like if you look at some of the examples in here, I kind of expected graphics demo to do this, but didn't. So look, okay. Don't know. B and BF. Don't know what that does. Oh, that's interesting. What does that do? Clear screen, line, circle, pset. So if we have something like, I don't know, 15, x equals x plus 1, 100. Just print x at the bottom there somewhere. We haven't mangled anything, have we? We go some sort of conditional branch. If x is lower than 200, then go to, what line was it? 15. Have we mangled it? What do we got? So we actually don't see any animation at all. So how do you make something that's animated on screen? Like if you want to make a simple, you know, a classic video game, or just an effect in general, you know, how do you do that? Is there a way of refreshing the graphics screen? Is there a way of, I wouldn't know. Anyway, I guess my points probably should be pretty well made. Yes, I don't know anything about this basic. That's a given, right? But neither do any person who runs into this without any prior knowledge. They don't know anything. So my point about making the feedback about errors is critical. Otherwise, it's only for people who already know the dialect. Like I'm a basic person, but I'm not really an old basic person. I've done those days, been and gone. Anyway, beyond that, it looks pretty good. Could be a lot of fun. While editing, I noticed a couple of weird things with the cursor. I'm trying to think what it was now. I think if I type line, put a pair of brackets, and then type something after that, there was like a weird thing where it would carry the characters around with you. I think it was line. May not have been. Oh, there it is. So if I'm pushing the backspace there, we'll try it again. So line, open bracket, close bracket. I guess just type anything there. If I hit the back arrow key and now type, we get an insertion. So you can actually insert. There you go, but the cursor doesn't move with you. Does that not work all the time or not? Hello? Back. And I'm inserting there. So there you go. That's what was weird about it. I was assuming it was triggered by the brackets, actually. It's not, it's the back arrow stuff happening. So there you go. It's a little bit of confusion with the editing thing, the interface in general. It might be nice to have that, I guess, but ideally you'd want to have, you know, list the line and then cursor up to it and just type in whatever you want over top of it. It would just be nice to have some feedback about what's wrong with the expression. What particular part of the expression is broken. Like if I type line and I put a string here, hello world, I'll get syntax error. Line. Hello world. Now, seems accurate. When I run it, I get standard syntax error. In other words, I can assume that the parameters for this thing are actually malformed, but it doesn't give me much to go on. So ideally, if you had something like, you know, it spat out, hey, this parameter here, I guess even if it went, you know, x1, y1, gave you a prototype, here x2, y2, to, you know, whether it's color and then it's like, I don't know, fill mode or something, whatever that parameter is at the end of this thing. Well, there you go. I was not expecting it to do that. Just some feedback to keep people in the loop, to keep actively trying, because what will happen is they'll hit a wall, see a syntax error, and then they'll just leave, and that's the end of that.